Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Monday, the 20th day of July. Today is National Moon Day, which is cool. National Lollipop Day, which is cool. That was from a song, Lollipop. Remember that?
I do.
Also National Pennsylvania Day and National Get Out of the Doghouse Day. So if you happen to be in the doghouse, today would be a good day to get out. I would start with these two words. I'm sorry.
That would be helpful.
It's a very good way to start. It is a Movie Star Monday as well, and I'm excited.
You do not, and I repeat, you do not want to say, are you in a better mood yet?
Did I do that?
That will not help you at all.
We were having an argument one day.
You've done that many
That's
times.
the way I started my apology. You in a better mood? Okay, just want to say I'm sorry. We're married, by the way. Can you tell? Almost 21 years now.
Yeah.
Movie Star Monday, excited to visit with Mr. Will Sasso. He was on Mad TV for years. He was in a bunch of different movies, including the Three Stooges film. He was Curly. Certainly. And there's a rumor that there's another movie coming out. I'm going to chat with him about that and much, much more. It's all coming up. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Survey by the Ocean Online Shark Tracker found that at least 3 sharks have been spotted off the coast of the New Jersey Shore area.
Okay.
So there's sharks in
Are
that there
there not
water.
usually sharks
I
there?
think there usually is, but they're just saying that they're a little closer to the shore than they want them to be or something. I'm not sure. So just saying, careful out there. This is Surveys and Studies and Such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Before we read the story, I want to make sure that I say, don't ever do this.
Okay.
Terrible idea. As a matter of fact, if you do try something like this, you might want to consider that site that we talked about, TimeForRehab.com. A drunk Ukrainian man ended up in a hospital after he was boasting in a bar that he could jump off the roof of the bar.
Oh, geez.
So they said, you cannot. And he goes, I could too. I could jump off the roof of this bar. And they said, no, I don't think he could. So what does he do? Climbs up to the bar. And then they said, hey, I bet you couldn't belly flop into this dumpster. Yes, I could. He did. Climbed to the roof of the bar, did a belly flop into the dumpster. He made it out, but he needed some stitches. So,
oh, my God.
I don't know how much he won in the bar bet, but by the time it was all over and done with, I guarantee
the hospital was, yeah.
Yeah, because I had 2 stitches.
But I think that they've got... free health care. So
in Ukraine, I don't know. I'm not sure what they have.
I don't know either.
It's a bad idea. Don't do it ever, 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 ever. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Tiger King star Carol Baskin is trying to shut down the South Carolina Zoo for not following protocols. PETA designated this the worst roadside zoo in America. So I have no idea what all is going on there. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all the details. Apple had this World War II drama, Greyhound, starring and written by Tom Hanks. It became the largest opening weekend released ever for Apple TV+. Apple is not revealing much about viewership, but they do say that 30% of Greyhound's viewers were new to the service. So people who signed up just for the service because, hey, I want to watch that movie Greyhound.
Okay.
So there you go. CBS is no longer planning to air Survivor Season 41 this fall. Production on the season, which was going to take place in Fiji, delayed back in March due to coronavirus pandemic. According to Variety, CBS and officials are in Fiji and they are still evaluating the best time to start production due to the heightened health and safety concerns involved. But they're going, it ain't going to happen this fall.
Right.
Just no way. So there you go. If you're a big fan of Survivor.
There wouldn't be enough room, enough time to get it done.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of Survivor, I'm sorry if I broke you that news. Sorry. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. We've got an interesting story here. Crafty cats coax their owners into giving them extra food by using a special purr. Scientists from the University of Sussex say that manipulative cats use a social purr, which is a similar frequency to a human's baby's cry. And people think this higher-pitched sound triggers a subconscious sense of urgency in the owner. It gives them whatever they want. So they're saying that, if you got a cat that, does this, they're just playing you. That's what they're saying. Manipulating you. We've got 2 dogs that they manipulate us all the time.
Yeah, our dogs pretty much get whatever they want.
They run our household, sadly.
For sure.
2 men in a small city in China were fined when their raucous mahong session woke up neighbors. I actually had to look this up because I'm like, what is this?
mahong?
Is it okay for us to talk about this on the radio? It's a board game. Kind of like Scrabble, maybe, as a closest.
Okay.
It's a game that has little tiles and you move them around and do things. Anyway, they were really getting into it, so much so that they woke the neighbors, and neighbors called the police, and they were fined for doing that. CDC study found that a Chinese woman infected 71 people with coronavirus during a 60-second elevator trip in a hospital. Here's my question. 71 people were infected? How big are the elevators in China?
Yeah.
71 people in a 60-second elevator ride. So I'm not really sure how any of that makes any sense, but I have a link to it if you want to read all the details.
Maybe they just meant because of those people that were in the elevator, then they went out and gave it to other people that they know.
She gave it to these 7, and they gave it to 10 each or whatever.
Yeah, but it all traced back to that one elevator.
Okay.
I sincerely doubt there were that many people in an elevator.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, that's a packed elevator. A New Jersey woman survived a 1-mile ride through the city's sewers after being sucked into a storm drain during a flash flood.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she was spit out into a nearby river. The good news is she's okay. The bad news is she went through the sewer for 1 mile. I can't even imagine that.
Ew.
Did not sound like a fun thing.
And how nasty is it that the sewers are just being spit out into the river?
Yeah, well, it wasn't like the sewer, it was a storm drain sewer. So that's what happens. So, yeah, she was run through the storm drain sewer.
So it wasn't a sewer.
Yeah, but it's still a sewer. So you're saying it's okay to hang out in the storm sewer, just not in the sewer?
Well, I'd rather be in a storm sewer than a sewer.
Me too. If I'm going to get sucked into one, that's the one. Federal authorities say a dead cat received a voter registration application in Atlanta.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Would it have been not as weird if it was a live cat? Just does it matter?
Shouldn't be. I mean, that's
if,
the problem with mail-in voting.
Is there a reason they had to put in the fact that the cat was dead, a deceased cat? Oh, well, the cat's dead. That's what the problem is. No, it was a cat. That's the whole problem. Social media users have been sharing a video that if you click on the video right away, it's going to pop up and say that it's false information, because I have a link to it. If you want to see it, you can. Interesting stuff. It says people are saying that the little metal thing that you push down over your nose in a mask has a 5G antenna, and they say no. So it's instantly listed as false news.
I don't think so. With as cheap as those masks are, I don't think so.
If you want to see it, it's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Check out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit with Will Sasso. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I am fabulous. Now, you've got a lot of fun projects you've had a chance to work on. You got a new one on ABC called United We Fall. Tell me a little bit about this one.
It's a family sitcom about a couple. Myself and Christina Vidal play Bill and Jill Ryan, who are two people who love each other very much, happen to have very, very young children. And I have an overbearing mother played by Jane Curtin, who lives with us. Christina Vidal has her older brother, overbearingly played by the incredible Guillermo Diaz, and it's basically these two people who love each other very much, and it's them against the world, not unlike a lot of married couples out there with children who are just trying to navigate having small children and raising a family. And the cool thing about the show is it's based on the writer's real life and experience with his own two young children and that of his wife. It's Julia Sharp and Stephanie Escajada, who is also a writer-producer on the show. So it's kind of a nostalgic throwback to the family sitcom and something that we hope people can just sort of sit on the couch and laugh at for a half hour.
That's really cool, and it's on ABC TV. We're going to throw a link to the information on that. And I was looking on your IMDb, and I see something that excited me a lot. It says on here, untitled Three Stooges sequel. Are we set for another movie?
Absolutely not, and I don't know why that's still on there. It's honestly, it's been it's really weird, but no, we're not. There's no plans to make another one, as much as I would love to do that.
So you got to see, I just went from really happy to really sad. See what you just did, Will?
Sorry. Yeah, I'd be happy to show up with Sean Hayes and Christy Mentopoulos, and we could maybe put on a little puppet show for you personally. But yeah, sorry to disappoint.
No, that was it was really fun. What was it like to be Curly for the movie when you did that? That had to be a whole lot of fun.
It was an honor, just a pleasure of my entire life to be able to in some way step into the shoes of one of the greatest physical comedians of all time with a blueprint like the Stooges left, and also to be working with the Farrelly brothers on the movie, who are massive Three Stooges fans. It was like all of us got to just sort of relive our childhood and laugh at this incredible, form of comedy that these guys created. But yeah, it was a gas.
Another program that my wife and I absolutely loved is Loudermilk. Her favorite comedian in the whole world is Brian Regan, and we got to watch his character.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't really a lovable character on that, but it was so fun to see him on there, and I loved your character on there. I think that your character, Ben, was really fun on Loudermilk.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, thanks. Please thank your wife for watching, too. It's a show that we all love doing, and aside from being one of, if not the funniest guys on the planet, Brian Regan, he's so great in Loudermilk. Season 3, which hasn't aired yet, if you're a Brian Regan fan, you're going to be blown away by what he does as an actor. He clearly, of course, has a ton of talent, but Regan also is such an incredible actor, something that I hope he ends up doing a lot more of. Absolutely.
Now, you spent some time on the set of Mad TV. You did that for, how many years were you on the cast at Mad TV? It's quite a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got to do that for 5 years.
Is there like a rift between Mad TV and SNL? Is that, you guys ever have like gang fights in the streets or anything like that?
Yeah, it's like the Jets and the Sharks in West Side Story. We're constantly at each other with boot knives and zip guns. No, I think that there's a lot of crossover on that show with writers. A lot of people that moved on to doing Saturday Night Live, I would say, graduating up to the Big Daddy Saturday Night Live. Yeah, there's always been when we were on the air, of course, there was a little bit of a rivalry. Mad TV, the network had it right opposite Saturday Night Live. So, but anytime I've met anyone from SNL, they've been really sweet, and I've always been a fan of SNL, so I'm always, anytime I meet an SNL alum, I'm usually hitting them up for stories. So, yeah, not enough time to attack each other with flip knives.
Well, and the thing that I was going to say, you must get along okay, because I remember seeing you in an Adam Sandler movie. You were in Happy Gilmore, the mover in the beginning there. So there has to be some, even if there is a rivalry, you got to get along a little bit, right?
Yeah, the Saturday Night Live people let the Mad TV people eat from the same trough every once in a while. So anytime I see a Mad TV alum in a Saturday Night Live branded performers thing, I'm like, ooh, ooh, look at that. They got along. Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome. Well, we're excited for the new program on ABC TV, United We Fall. Will, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and thanks for making people smile at a time when people need to smile.
Oh, that's sweet of you to say. Hopefully we can all keep smiling, because what are we going through here?
Exactly. Again, Will Sasso, the new program on ABC TV. It's United We Fall. I've got a link to all of the information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A town in Minnesota had a 3-year-old mayor elected in 2015. Well, when I say elected, let me explain. In the small town of Dorset, Minnesota, the new mayor is picked every 2 years. They don't have an election. They draw a name out of a hat. And in 2015, a 3-year-old by the name of Robert Tufts was elected mayor.
So who actually makes the decisions for this town?
I don't know. Apparently, well, if it's a small enough town, they probably have a lot of decisions to make. Maybe his mom and dad. I don't know. His governing style says in here, in quotes, be nice and no poopy talk. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world. I'm actually going to give you a whole story here. Dateline, Italy. I have to share this whole story. According to a local report, an Italian woman driving a Ford Focus down a coastal highway got a ticket for going over 100 miles over the speed limit.
100 over?
Yeah, a camera said she was going about 437 miles per hour. But here's what happened. It was a camera malfunction.
I was going to say, because she was driving a what?
I don't know. She's driving a Ford Focus. Yeah, the version of the Ford Focus available there can go 155 miles an hour, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But they double-checked the camera's findings because they're like, oh, this seems a little bit weird. They had originally put 10 points on her license, and it was going to cost her about a $1,000 fine. But they advised the driver to appeal to the local government for compensation. So it's probably a good idea. But that is such a bizarre story. It happened in Italy. This is a news headline. You got the whole story today from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. In England, the decision to put a parking ticket on a bus during a layover at a stop has been called, quote, absolutely ridiculous. The driver of the 44 service, what does that mean? The 44 service?
Maybe it's a route?
Could be. He was issued a ticket on Monday. Operations manager said it was a slap in the face for the driver who continued to work throughout lockdown. Leicester County Council said the notice was, quote, issued as the bus appeared to be parked up and unattended. So they operated the 44 route on behalf of the county council for several years. As part of the council timetable, service requires a 20-minute layover. So it was during this 20-minute layover that they requested in the market, he has to wait for 20 minutes in case somebody wants to get on. And while he was waiting, they gave him a ticket. Center Bus is appealing against the ticket. What a bizarre story. So like, hey, you need to sit here and wait for people.
Right. And while you do, we're going to give you a ticket.
Because he wasn't in the vehicle. So he left to use a restroom or whatever.
Okay.
And they're like, well, it's just been parked up, whatever parked up means. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. This is a weird story. This could have been our weird news. The brother of an Arkansas mayor was arrested for allegedly stealing a car with 2 children inside.
Oh.
Daryl Lamont Scott, brother of Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr., hopped into a car as the engine was running in the parking lot outside the Baptist Hospital. Don't worry, I'm the mayor's brother, the 31-year-old said to the children's parents, after grabbing one of the kids' cell phones to speak to them after the abduction. Scott was accused of driving with the kids to McCain Mall in North Little Rock. He was later arrested in the parking lot. Mayor Scott addressed his siblings' arrest in a statement. He said, "This is an extremely difficult season for the life of my younger brother. We're seeking medical and professional help as he manages this crisis." So, not exactly sure what he did or why he did it or if he was on something or whatever, but as he drove away with 2 kids, one of the kids in the back seat called his mom and handed the phone to the guy. He's like, "It's okay. I'm the mayor's brother. It's just fine. I steal cars all the time. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I'll get these kids back to you." Go and run through a car wash. Run through a car wash and clean this thing up. I don't know what happened. Just a bizarre story. It is today's moment of duh.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Fake news or Florida. A Pensacola man was arrested for fondling himself in public and then asking a police officer if he could squeeze the officer's rump. Fake news or Florida?
Oh, my. I'm going to say Florida.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure I know how you knew that was true. Because if it was made up, I would have never even read that.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, and I got this. I'm like, do I even... I changed some of the words to make it a little more G-rated. So Don't even start guessing which words, Heidi.
I already know which words.
I was like, why in the world? But if you want to click the story and read it... I did, just because I didn't know for sure if that's what happened. And yeah, it happened. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. And this is just a really cool story. Sanitation worker gets accepted to Harvard Law, writes open letter to his brother. So sanitation worker from Maryland has been accepted into Harvard Law, calling it the most surreal moment in his life. Rehan Staten, 24, said his family had privileged life in Maryland, but when his mother left the country and his father lost a job, things took a turn for the worse. He was 8 years old at the time. His father started working up to 3 jobs at a time. Food became scarce. Sometimes heat was a luxury that they could not afford. Issues at home affected his grades, which suffered during time in middle school. During his high school tenure, he trained to become a professional boxer. However, his junior year, he suffered a rotator cuff injury, did not have health insurance, so that derailed his boxing career. At that time, he said, I was really involved in sports, and I thought sports would be a way out of poverty. Support from my father and support from my brother, if it wasn't for those two, it would have been impossible. He shifted his focus to academics, applied to several colleges, was rejected by many. His body recovered. He took a job as a trash collector at a sanitation company, and his coworkers uplifted him and urged him to go back to school. They said, you're smart. You got to do this. And he applied at a bunch of different places. And guess what? He's been accepted at Harvard. How cool is that?
Wow.
He was accepted at 4 different law schools, by the way. Harvard is one. And he's enrolled for the fall 2020 semester. And it's really, really cool. He's got an open letter to his older brother that if you'd like to read it, I've got a link to it. It's really lengthy. And if I read it, I would just get choked up anyway.
You would. You'd
I'm
cry.
already a little choked up. It's a cool story. I love that. It's such a great story. And this is a guy who didn't give up. And, even though life was dealing him one blow after another, he was going out collecting garbage and, doing that as a job.
Doing
That's
what
not a bad job at all, but he was doing what he needed to do. And it was people he worked with that urged him and said, you should do something more with your life. And he decided, I'm going to try. And he was accepted to 4 different law schools.
Wow.
Really cool story. I've got a link to it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.